making benches with curved posts. Okay. I've hidden my front component, which was actually the unique one, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I've hidden my front component. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to build an oversized rectangle. So we've been using I'm going to use, let's see, I think I used 84 by 16. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger. Just, that'll work. So 84, 16. The 16 is the front to back part of the seat. That's not going to change. I think we could really do this with this. We'll take it over, select it, and we'll move it back. We'll move it in like, move it on the green axis. We'll move it in like that. And then I'm going to move it up. So I'll hit the up arrow key. I'll move it up 16 inches. Like that. You can see it's punching into the one on the left, but not on the right. So I'm going to move it on the red axis now, on red, like this, and just get it to sort of equalize. And I just don't want it to be too close to those spindles. That's not too bad, really. Okay, I think this will work. So what's tricky about this is cutting curves into this. So actually, at this point, we could probably just make sure this is completely highlighted, right-click and hit Intersect Faces with Model. And that should burn in the lines of the curve. That's good so far. Then what we want to do is sort of create the pizza slice shape. So I'm going to hit T for the tape. I'm going to click on some random point along this diagonal line. Go straight up in the air, so I'll hit the up arrow key and just touch the top surface of this. And that's really our cutting line there. We're going to do the same thing over here. Just click on a random point, drag it up, hit the up arrow key, touch the surface. Okay, now we know where to draw our lines. So I could come in with L for line, zoom in is probably a good idea, trace that line with a line. And there's actually a piece behind there that, this in the post that I can't see. So I think the best way to do this is going to be this. Draw a line. And that should really give me that. That's the piece I need. So I'm going to use the copy kill method on that. I'm going to select this piece. That's what I want. Copy it. You could also right click and hit copy, which is here. Then we could light the whole thing up and delete it. That's the kill part. So we copied it, we kill it, and then you can right click anywhere, even out here. Doesn't matter. Right click and hit paste in place. And that comes back in. That worked pretty well, I think. Then we have to give it thickness because it's still 2D. We don't want to push pull it up because right now it's 16 inches off the floor, and that's really what I want. That's typical kind of seat height. So I don't want to increase this and change that top. So what we'll do is we'll pull it down, and I'm going to use 1.25, enter. That's 5/4 lumber. It's weird. It's called 5/4, but it's really 1 1.25. 5/4 is 1.25 or 1.25. We're going to put it in the component, so definitely group it first. Cut it out. You could do it by right-clicking, hitting cut here. Then get inside. Have to get inside this particular component and right-click and paste it in place. And the bounding box makes that look weird, but once we click off of it, get out of the component, that fits nicely. And really the same technique could be used for, if you put a tow rail and have a tow rail and a handrail in the unique component, and you make your short post with that, we could really do the same thing. You could have a tow rail and a handrail, And then as long as you select those guys, probably best to work with it while they're still 2D. Um, Light up, for instance, if I had the toe rail punching through this, um, light up, edit to edit the, select the toe rail, right click and say intersect faces with model, and that will actually burn the curve into it. Gets a little trickier if your handrail's running into like a lot of detail up here, but that may be another issue. Okay, so that is creating that, and then the brackets. Doing the brackets, this may be also in another video I have, but I would always come in here and I'd measure the height from the bottom of that, hit the up arrow key, do that, and then look in the bottom right hand corner in the dimension box. It says 1 foot 2 3/4. 1 foot is 12 inches plus 2 is 14, 14 3/4. And then I think probably the best thing for this is 14 3/4 is the height. I would come out here and just build a rectangle on the axis. Doesn't matter which way. It could be red or green. Depends on where we put it in. I think I'd probably go red like this, and then just make that a square. So 14 3/4, 14.75, comma 14.75. And then I'm going to do a really fast version of this to create the support for the benches. So you don't want to start with a point. So I might start with an arc, or I might start with a line, sort of create a foot, and then you can design really whatever you want in here. Again, you don't want to go to a point. Zooming in with the arc tool is better. I should have done that. Look straight at it. Zoom in. A for the arc tool, click here. Whatever you decide to design. This is another one where I could do copy kill. I could say copy that, then kill it, delete it, and then right click paste in place. Brings that back in. So that's based on the right height, and we just don't want this to be any more than 16 because the bench is 16. You could come right out to 16, or I would think I would go shorter. You could do it like this and give it thickness. I think I used 1.5. If you want to hollow it out, just don't make it too thin. If I do an offset on this, even that wouldn't be good. You want something that's got some strength, so something relatively thick. I could push this out if I wanted. And the last thing I would do with this is make it a component in case I want to change it later. And then they'll all change. This is kind of a bracket or a support. I think I'm going to call it support. And then put it in place right in the center. I would just move it over and get it in the neighborhood first. Maybe come around the back. I'm going to grab its bottom center point, bottom midpoint here, and I'm going to move it back and forth on the axis like this. Find something I can trust, like the bottom of this board, and find its center. Now I know it's centered, and then I'm going to go in and grab any point along here, move it on the axis. In this case, it's going to be green, and move it and touch that so it lines up. Cut it out, put it in this component, and at least we have the center brackets. These may get tricky in here because I may, Even at this point, even if I rotate a copy over, it's going to swing in because it's swinging in on an arc. So that was messed up. Take this guy, rotate a copy, Q Alt, off of the center. And I would just run it out here, and that's 30 degrees, excuse me. And we may have to alter this. If I have to alter this, I might take this component and right-click and make it unique so that it won't change the center ones. And then I'm going to have to move it back and see how it lines up. I think maybe I might, to start with, I might just move this midpoint back and touch it to that. And I mean, it could run back and touch that guy in the back. If it's sticking out too far, if it starts to smash into that, again, I made this unique so I can change this one without changing these guys. I might even just come in here and slice this off, draw a line and set back a little ways and push this across, and so it sets back. A lot of different details could be done with that. So when you're in that, you only have to rotate one copy over because it's happening in every one, so you can see. All right.